And welcome into the Friday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, good morning. What's going on? How we doing?
Not bad. Didn't get to. I just couldn't finish that game last night. I'm looking at the
I didn't
screen.
even try.
Yeah, I mean, I might have, if not for the weather. But then I was like, okay, this is my excuse to go to bed. But pretty fun game. Fun stuff happened before it too, or right at the beginning of it too.
Spitgate.
Yeah, and what? Dak spit first. That's the whole thing here.
Yeah, Dak spit first, but apparently was not trying to spit on Jalen Carter. Lengthy statement from Dak Prescott after the game.
But his spit didn't hit Carter.
That is correct.
Yeah, he just sort of spat.
But apparently Jalen Carter asked him
at
that point if he was trying to spit on him, and Dak was like, "Why would I do that?" And did Jalen Carter spit on him?
And Jalen Carter said, "Here, let me show you how to do it."
Yeah,
and you got to
show you how this is done.
Pick a spot and then really just let it fly. Tua, Dak Tua.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I saw somebody tweet that last night. That's awesome.
That is pretty good.
I mean, what a start to the NFL season. I mean, get the opening kickoff, and then before the first play from scrimmage is run, Jalen Carter gets booted from the game last night.
Good mute. We probably got a better game because of it, right?
Probably.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, he's kind of good. He's kind of important.
I mean, Dallas went right down the field on their first drive, and I was like, oh boy. Jalen Carter's out of the game. Cowboys got some hope in this one.
They were like, hey, let's call some inside runs.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Turns out there's somebody missing in there that may be a big deal.
Yeah.
In the middle of it.
I can't believe, actually, that the way the game was going, that in the late stages, there were no points. I saw that CeeDee Lamb had some critical drops.
Yeah. Well, I thought after the first drive for Dallas, I was telling Ian this before the show, I thought CeeDee Lamb was going to end up with about 80 catches for 600 yards in that single game just because Adoree Jackson was out there covering him. And I was like, yeah, that looks familiar. I've seen that before out there. It didn't go well for Adoree Jackson on that first drive.
No.
Just got smoked.
Well, no, or after that, too. They were clearly like, yeah, we're going to throw this way. So there is a if anybody thinks the Eagles are perfect, I mean, Adoree Jackson's their CB2 at this point in his career, especially. Probably not great. You can't be great everywhere. Yeah, I'm looking at these CD drops. It's tough, man. I mean, the last one there, that would have been a really good play, but the earlier one, my goodness, you can't throw it better than Dak threw it.
I think they said he had 4 drops in the game in like 7 or 8 all last season.
Wow. By the way,
you got to rein that focus in a little bit.
I guess so, man. Still a great player. Still had great numbers at the end, right? CD. I mean, he had
over 100. I know for
more
sure.
Than 100. So, but yeah. So tough for the Cowboys. That would have been nice for Chase to to get a kind of surprise win, feel a little bit better about the Micah stuff and all that.
Well, I needed them. I needed them going there and win. I mean, this season long race that I've got in my head with the Philadelphia Eagles for home field advantage at the end. I needed them to win last night.
That's right.
I didn't do it.
You just worry about the Lions, man. Micah Parsons telling the Lions, what do you say?
Oh,
I hate the Lions.
Trust me, I'm fully locked in on the Lions. I'm fully locked in.
Locked on Lions.
Yes, I'm locked on the Detroit Lions coming up on Sunday. I'm random sidebar. I'm just looking at the NFL page on my ESPN app. Apparently tonight's Chiefs-Chargers game is on YouTube. Previously unaware of that. Did not know that.
Yeah.
So do you have to have YouTube TV?
I think it's just regular YouTube.
Okay.
So if you have YouTube TV, which I do, I should be okay.
I would think so, for sure.
Probably.
I'm worried.
Yeah.
Or do I have to go to
I'm
YouTube?
a little bit worried about myself because I don't have YouTube TV. So I don't know. I might be in the dark on this one.
I mean, I think
go to
it
the bar.
just says YouTube. It doesn't say YouTube TV.
Yeah, but right. So that would be like anybody, to me, who doesn't have YouTube TV needs to go to youtube.com. But if you have YouTube TV, don't you think that since it's owned by YouTube?
I mean, I would think so, yes.
We'll see. We'll find out. Yeah, Joey from Bellevue, how about that monster game from A.J. Brown? Yeah, 1 catch for 8 yards.
Yeah, good stuff from him last night.
I mean, again, like Jalen Hurts never looked at any of his. He threw to his tight end, he threw it to Barkley, or he ran. but they still won. I mean, that's the thing about them. They have a luxury of AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Now I'm sure one of them will have a huge game this next week, but yeah, did AJ get mad? Was AJ mad?
I don't know. Didn't see. I mean, they're apparently, according to ChatGPT, Joe, yes, you'll be fine with YouTube TV watching the game, but it is on YouTube for free, and it is being called, quote, the most accessible NFL game ever.
Okay,
Chiefs
booyah.
Chargers.
Bring it.
How about that, Ian? The most accessible NFL game ever coming up tonight.
I don't believe that, but
so
all you need is bunny ears regularly. It's free. You don't need internet.
For decades, if you had a TV and bunny ears, you would have access. Is it more accessible?
But I mean, I guess what they're saying is
worldwide?
like you could just like you could be in Indonesia
Taiwan.
and go to YouTube and pull this sucker up.
Yeah, maybe they have a point there.
I guess that's fair. Okay, all right, good.
A lot of people going to be watching the Chiefs and Chargers tonight, apparently.
Yeah, I will be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it,
man.
Yeah,
that's a. I mean, I'm more excited about that game than
if you're the Titans. You need the Chargers to win so you can give the Chiefs their first loss and take home field advantage away from them. It's what you need to be viewing if you're the Titans.
The race starts now.
Race starts now. And the more the Chiefs can lose, better off the Titans are going to be, I think.
I feel like I can go through some of the athletic predictions, but I mean they kind of confirm this, but like very, very few people believe in the Chiefs this year. Like believe that that the Super Bowl, which again, they were in the Super Bowl. They got smoked.
Yeah.
But that the Super Bowl is the start of the decline. That's the sense I'm getting. I guess I kind of am on the same boat, but I picked them to win the division, but I don't know. I also feel like maybe people are a little bit overboard with
We've
that.
probably had this conversation before about burying the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I will say, like, they just looked a little old last year.
Yeah.
And beyond just Kelsey, looked a little old.
Well, their offense looks sluggish, and their defense has kind of carried them the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And you think about our fantasy draft the other night. I know someone got Mahomes at some point, but it wasn't that long ago that he was going in the first round regularly because of the numbers were just absurd on a regular basis, and they're not that at all. I do think that if Rashee Rice, can be on the field, kind of put it all together, that could really make a difference for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if the offense is better this year. That would be probably the main thing. Look, we know he's going to be good, but who's is Kelsey back to being Travis Kelsey, or is he another year older, continuing to kind of spiral downward there? Is Xavier Worthy going to be like some stud out there for them this year? I don't know. I'm interested to see how that goes. But I look at, they're going to be in the playoffs, right? Like they're going to be, I have seen a lot of people picking the Broncos to win that division. I've seen some pick the Chargers to win that division. I think the loss of the Chargers left tackle is going to be a big problem for them to overcome there. But to your point, I have seen a whole lot of Ravens and Bills in the Super Bowl this year in terms of people and their preseason predictions. A lot of Ravens, a lot of Bills.
No, dominant. In fact, I'll find it, but yeah, no, it's overwhelming that it's those two. And again, it's like, I don't think that's like just, it's not just wishful thinking. They're both really good teams. And it should be their time. One of them. It should be one of their times this year. But, I think I'm more on board with that than I am with Denver winning the AFC West, but that's a very popular pick.
Yeah. We're going to get a firsthand look at Denver this weekend, and we'll see exactly what they look like, how prepared they are. But, I picked Denver. I picked Denver to win the AFC West. I don't feel great about it, but I do like their team, and I like their defense, and I like their coach. So I think that division has a chance to be pretty good. Like you're looking at and I know we talked about that. Remember when Russ came there?
The Raiders aren't trash anymore.
Yeah, remember when Russ came there and it's like, oh yeah, look at this AFC West out there. It may be the best division ever.
Yeah,
greatest division ever. Sucked. And the Chiefs have won it 9 years in a row. I think they've won 9 years in a row that division, which is pretty insane in the NFL for somebody to do that.
Yeah, no, it really is. So I'm trying to. I will say, too, with the Athletic Offensive Rookie of the Year, Genty is the runaway But Cam Ward did come in second with 7 votes, by the way.
Which I believe is exactly how the Vegas odds line up as well. Genty 1 and Ward 2.
Okay. And also, NFL coach getting fired first. There's 4 names. Brian Callahan, not one of those names.
Okay. I mean, the first name, would it be Brian Dable? Is he on the list?
Actually, he is on the list, but the most popular picks, so I'm trying to think.
McDaniel.
Okay, I'm seeing 15.5, and I'm like, what? Shane Steichen won. Shane Steichen won with got 15.5 votes, and Kevin Stefanski got 3.5 for less, but it's 15.5, Mike McDaniel 15, Dable 10, then Stefanski nothing for Callahan.
So Brian Callahan, not even the first AFC South coach on the list there.
Yeah. Now, of course, if you're a Titans fan, you might be like, yeah, it's just because they just ignore us in general, you know. So there may be something to that.
Could be. I mean, look, if the season goes the way I said it may start yesterday, and they're like 1-9 or 1-10 or whatever it is, he's probably gonna get fired. That'd be my guess.
If they're at 1-10, yeah. I mean, again, what is the one? Is it possible to be that bad but have your quarterback throwing for 280 a week? And
I don't think so.
I mean, like the defense is giving up 35 points. You know what I mean? I mean, I'd probably not, but that's I guess the scenario where it's like, yeah, just get a new D coordinator and you're doing a great job with the quarterback.
If they're 1-10, I don't think it really much matters how they get there. I think he's probably gone.
I just don't know if an in-season hiring or firing would make sense regardless of the record at this point.
I don't know.
Do you mean gone in season or just this will be his last season?
Probably this will be his last season.
Yeah. I think I would just wait till the end of the season, considering. I mean, this is
I mean, how many?
I'll be surprised if she makes an in-season.
How many in-season firings do we see in the NFL? I mean, it happens.
It happens.
But I don't think it happens that much.
No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen too much. It seems like maybe 1 or 2 a year, but yeah, probably some years that we have none.
Yeah, like when, Eberflus got fired. It's like, yeah, that's probably going to be an in-season firing. It's like, yep, worked out that way.
After he, confirmed that he can't count.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, things like that will get you.
Yeah, they will. Let's avoid things like that if you're Brian Callahan. 615-737-1025. Our phone number. Opening weekend for the Titans. We'll take your thoughts on that. We got some college football to get into later this hour as well. Teron Davenport will be with us at 8 o'clock. And one member of our program off to a fantastic start in the Pigskin Pick'em competition. We'll get into that later in the show at 8:30 as well. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Titans taking on the Broncos this weekend. We will get our picks for that later in the show. We will get into the most important Titans, not named Cam Ward, coming up in the 7 o'clock hour for this weekend in the Denver Broncos game. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. Joe, let me ask you this. And Ian, I want you to weigh in on this too. We have gone through the matchup. It is not a good matchup for the Titans. I think we all would agree with that. You're looking across against one of the best defenses in the NFL. You have a Sean Payton coached offense, so you know that that's going to be creative and difficult to deal with. You have a quarterback in Bo Nix that played really well as a rookie last year, and that Sean Payton clearly believes is going to be like a star player in the National Football League. We'll see if Bo Nix ends up being that. But on paper, it's a bad matchup for the Titans. So what if they win? If they win this game on Sunday, they go on the road and they take down Denver and they win. What would that tell us about this coaching staff? What would that tell us about this program in year 2 for Brian Callahan? Knowing that if you look back through Titans history, I mean, go look at Ken Wisenhunt, baby. That guy was a week 1 savant. Week 1, you needed him to go win a game. He could do it, and that was about all the games he won was week 1 with the Tennessee Titans. So realizing that week 1 can be a liar in the NFL, and that week 1 success does not always mean that further success is coming down the line. They go on the road, they win this game in the altitude, given the circumstances and the mismatch on paper. What does that tell us about Brian Callahan and this staff?
Sean Payton blew it.
There we go.
It would be a big deal. Now, I have seen, and we've talked a little bit about this, but I've definitely seen more and more of the idea of, Titans fans need Cam Ward to stink in his first game, Don't because Cam Ward, if they win, there's no way they win unless he's pretty freaking good, right?
You would think so.
So then it's like, oh no, it's going to be the same fate of of all these quarterbacks come in and Levis, Levis at the 4 TD game. So no, it would be a big boost. There's no doubt about it. Again, it's like with anything, it's like, okay, show me how. What's it look like? What happened? Was it just a bunch of weird crap that happened and they got lucky? I mean, last year, Matt Eberflus should have sent a fruit basket to Will Levis after he handed him that game, But yeah, it's this is one of those weeks where Brian Callahan and his staff, they are being pitted against, I think, one of the best coaches in the NFL, right?
For sure.
I don't know where, I don't know where Sean Payton ranks. I know where he probably ranks himself.
I was about to say, just ask him.
Yeah. But he is good. He's very good. And I think basically you get him away from having to have Russ as his QB, and all of a sudden he looks a little bit better. So now this is one of those, every week is a test, but this is one of those, you beat this coach, and that's, that's a big deal. That's a little bit more than just a win.
Well, I think it would be more than anything else, Ian. I think it would be just a huge shot in the arm, not just to the fan base, because I think the fan base needs that, but I think to the team, and I think to Brian Callahan. Like, Brian Callahan kind of needs a win like this, right? Like, I went through the schedule yesterday. If it goes anywhere close to the way I think it might this year, the belief in him, regardless of how good of a guy you think he is and how smart you think he is, if a long enough period of time elapses, when you're talking about last year and the first part of this year, where the results just don't come, it's hard for everybody involved, I think, to continue to have belief in what he's doing and what he's preaching. And I think if you can get a win like this, that's a huge shot in the arm to begin the year.
I think that's fair. And I think Joe's point to how the game kind of goes, could dictate how you feel, maybe more so. Like, did Denver just completely lay an egg? Turnovers, they make a couple of bonehead plays that turn the game, and boom. Although, if you're the Titans, that means you're taking advantage of, the quick turnaround kind of stuff. So that'd be good. I am hesitant to take a lot from week 1 in general, regardless whether it's good or bad. There's just so many variables the first week. And I can't remember. I want to say it was 4 or 5 teams last year lost week 1, still made the playoffs. I remember Floyd Reese always used to say, early in the season, the bad teams don't know they're bad yet.
Yep.
And that's one of the things, like if you're the Titans and it's week 1 and it's Denver, and Denver's got all this hype over the offseason, they're going to come in, the Titans are supposed to be terrible. Like, would I be surprised if Denver just didn't play well the week 1, kind of underestimating the opponent, and the Titans win? I'm not sure. That would be incredibly shocking to me, considering it's the first week, but I'm not sure. It might set you up, moving forward, but I would be very hesitant to take a whole lot out of the first week.
Yeah, I mean, it's still it's a real football game. But I agree, it can obviously lie. I think week 1 lies in college football more than the NFL, but certainly you can go find. I mean, think about the Titans of the year that they end up being the number 1 seed. They were incredibly hyped. They come in and just get destroyed at home by the Cardinals. Actually, this game at Denver, a little bit like the going to Cleveland game in 19. Remember the hype around the Browns. Now, the Titans weren't supposed to be terrible. They were supposed to be okay. They went in and crushed them. Just, you got what? You got, like, my gosh, was it Cameron Wake with a safety?
He's like 37 years old. How old he was?
Derrick Henry takes one of those throwback screens all the way. A.J. Brown I think he took one all the way, didn't he? It was just this total fantasy land. And the funny thing is that team ends up losing 4 of their next 5 games, and I swear the worst team in football, certainly the worst offense in football, as a game at Denver showed.
Yep.
And then they end up leading by 10 in the AFC Championship game. Talk about it, just wait until the next week, and who knows what you might get, team. So that happens in the NFL too, although I think that team still is an outlier in like the terribleness and greatness that they had in the same year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys for the most part on, like, there's limitations as to what it means. But I do think, as Ian brought up, if they win this game, it tells me that they're not out there making some of the same catastrophic mistakes that they made last year. And I'm not just talking about quarterback, because that's the easiest one to point to. But what did we talk about all last week of just the stupid penalties they had last year, and the shooting themselves in the foot, and, false starts when you're getting a drive start and you're automatically in 1st and 15 and putting yourself behind the 8 ball. Like, there's way too much of that crap last year. And if you can go on the road and get a win like this, that would probably tell me that you really limited that in week 1. And not only did you take advantage of maybe some mistakes by Denver, but you just didn't kill yourself out there like we saw them do so many times last year, where, yes, they weren't talented. Yes, they had a bad roster, but they also did some things last year that were just not conducive to winning football games, regardless of what your roster looks like. And it would tell me that they cleaned some of that up.
Yeah. No, they need to look like a better coach team in a lot of different ways.
But it would set you up for, to me, want to know if you win and what that could do if you were to find a way to beat the Rams next week.
I know.
That would be encouraging.
Are we talking 17-0 right now?
But to start out the season, and then you're talking, like, if you can find a way to win the first game, and then you're going into the second game up, trying to get to 2-0, you find a way to win both of those, then you probably get a better feel around the team. I would say, the momentum starts to pick up.
And again, like, I think, and I understand why people view it this way. Like, I do think there's some people around, like, league circles and, like, some Titans fans that are looking at this as if this is like ETSU going to Neyland this weekend and playing Tennessee. And, like, there's just no chance for the Titans to pull it off. I mean, it is the National Football League. They do have a chance to go win this game on the road.
It is. Yeah, exactly. I mean, these things, way crazier things happen all the time. I mean, that's why we're, like, blown away by, what is it, 8.5 right now?
Yeah.
And that's a massive line. In the NFL, that's a massive line.
Yeah.
Obviously, in college football, that's not that big of a deal. Real quick, Dustin from Hopkinsville is recommending a thing called Superbox for people to apparently get everything that's ever been on television on it. I am not promoting it. It sounds a little fishy there, Dustin. I'm just saying. Then he says to me, "You ever go 5 over on the freeway?" I'm like, "All right, man." You do you, Dustin.
It'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
Super box. It just sounds, I don't know, man. Sounds like
That's
happy,
illegal,
and I'm calling the feds in to shut this down. There you go. Sounds like happy fun ball.
Ian's got the perfect drop for everything. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Continue to take your thoughts on the Titans. Plus, Bill Belichick just keeps getting in his own way out there, and he's done it again. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Tomorrow, the MTSU Blue Raiders taking on Wisconsin. Kickoff at 3 o'clock, and you can catch all the action on Totally Hits 93.3. Coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe, apparently North Carolina football has banned the New England Patriots staff from accessing their program. And apparently not even just the Patriots, but most teams around the league have had their access limited to the North Carolina football program. Now, from what I'm reading, I'm gathering that the Patriots are just outright banned, right? Like they just outright cannot access this. I'm looking at a story from ESPN.com. It says, quote, 2 NFL scouts who work for other teams told ESPN that North Carolina, under Belichick's leadership, offers limited access to all NFL personnel. Clubs are allowed to speak only with Jourdain, who's a member of their staff. And UNC's college relations website says that, quote, scouts will have zero access to coaches or other personnel people, and that the term zero access appears 3 times on UNC's college relations website, which is a page only accessible to NFL personnel. So what do you make of apparently very limited access to North Carolina for NFL personnel people from Bill Belichick and just banning the New England Patriots staff from being around?
I'm starting to wonder if he's stupid.
I was going to take that conversation there. I am too.
Hey,
like, has he just totally lost his mind, or has he always been like this?
Come to North Carolina. I'll get to the NFL. Hey, guess what? None of the NFL people can watch you. You're coming. It's just it's ridiculous. The Athletic wrote a story. Here's a Carolina source about the Patriots saying, quote, why would we let them in our home after how he's been treated since he left? What?
Because it's not about you.
Exactly. It's not about you. Well, take it to the game too. And this is a different thing, but it's the same idea. They put out their depth chart with no names on it, right? Yeah. So again, at some point, if you're Bill Belichick, you should probably figure out that, if you're winning big or whatever, then you can do pretty much whatever you want. But especially, I think in college football, like, fans want information. In the NFL, you're forced to give a lot of access. I'm sure he would have had none if it wasn't for the NFL's policies. He hates the media, but fans want to follow along with this stuff. You need those people to care and you should give them information and not kind of spit in their face at it with a basic obvious thing. But between that and the NFL scouting thing, it's just like it screams, I don't get it. And then you tack on a nice 48-14 beauty in your opener, and it's just like you just look really bad on a variety of fronts here.
He looks like a total moron, and it makes you look at the totality of his career. And look, I've always been somebody who looks at him and says, everybody calls him the greatest NFL coach of all time, and it's like, well, he's won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, and Brady gets up in front of a microphone, talks about how good of a coach he is, and all his players talk about how much of a genius he is. So, like, I can't ignore that. Like, that's pretty important information that everybody talks about. And then you look at his career, and it's like, well, I mean, before Brady showed up in New England, he was an okay head coach. And then after Brady was gone, he's not very good. And now he's gone to North Carolina, and it just looks like he's lost his mind. Like, I don't know what to make of the whole Belichick part of this, and I know people, the more that time has gone on here, and particularly when Brady went somewhere else and immediately won a Super Bowl, it was just like, I think there was probably a little bit too much of it was just entirely Brady. Like, it was all Brady. But I will say, the more he starts doing this stuff, I'm just like, man, was it all Brady? Like, what's going on around here? Like, I just, the level of incompetence that he has put on display the last couple of years just does not add up to me from anything else we saw during that era.
Yeah. Well, look, it's before Brady went to Tampa Bay. If you ever a situation like this, where you have an all-time great player and a great coach. I mean, again, like Phil Jackson has all these styles. Like, man, it sure was good to coach Jordan and Pippen and Shaq and Kobe.
Right.
Not saying Phil Jackson's not a great coach, but I mean, of course, it's the player. The player always outweighs, to me, the coach. Yeah, Belichick's a great coach. I mean, you can't And again, the early days of Brady, they weren't leaning on Brady to carry them. I mean, they had an all-around great team, and he was part of it. But yeah, the way it's legacy. This is legacy savaging right now from Belichick. It is. And again, so it's like, and take the Jordan Hudson thing out of it. I mean,
I'm not even really referring to that.
No, I know.
Yeah, like it's just.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, like that's another part of it. But I mean, just take that out of it and just look at the pettiness here and the just
ego, right?
Yeah, ego.
Yeah,
and just again, he's not getting it. Like, understand what you need to be successful. One of the things is definitely like the 33rd team. Lean in on the NFL thing of it, and you're just going to completely ban one of those teams. I mean, look, if you have players good enough, like they'll get drafted, but that's still like it's going to be used against you. Just like we talk about the Tennessee offense or whatever it is. Everybody else out there recruiting, they all negative recruit. It's what they do. It's the primary form of recruiting is negative recruiting against whoever else is competing with you for players. Yeah. And Bill Belichick is just giving them all reams of information.
Well, and the other part of this is like the results, both in New England when it was coming to an end, and now look, we're one game into North Carolina, so who knows? I mean, go look at their schedule. It's not exactly murder's row that they've got coming up this year, but I mean, they looked awful the other night against TCU. So if the results don't come, you're also talking about a pretty extended period of time right now from him where the results have just been bad. Like, and look, it's pro sports when you're in New England. Eventually things cycle down. And when Brady moves on, you're not replacing Tom Brady, right? Like, it's just not going to happen. So some of it is just natural law in professional sports that eventually you're going to cycle down. But I'm just saying that we're on a pretty extended run now of the results not coming from him, regardless of what level of football he's been at. And look, I've got an open mind to him at North Carolina. I'm still intrigued by it. It was a horrific start for him down there. And I think there's a lot of excuses that have been made from some this week about him of, well, look how new the roster is. And they've got 70 new players and it's there. And it's like, well, you can't be screaming about how you're the 33rd NFL team and you put together this big organization and you're so much smarter than everybody else. And then you lose by 100 in your first game. And you're like, well, we just changed the roster up too much. You don't get it both ways. But the more information that comes out of there, Joe, the more convinced I am that it's just going to be an absolute disaster for him down there. It's hard to think anything different.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's I've never I figured it would be like pretty good, and it may yet be, like he's too good of a coach for it to just be terrible. But I don't know, man. Like, again, college football is a different deal too, and just some of the outside stuff I think can just be more of an issue. And again, remember, these are 18 to 22-year-olds, not 22 to 32-year-olds. I mean, that's a big difference. They're not professionals. I mean, again, someone's asking if this is a girlfriend rule with the Patriots. Again, let me read this quote. Quote, this is a Carolina source. Quote, why would we let them in our home after how he's been treated since he left? They got all our tape and call our staff for info. We will help our players, but being treated fairly is a two-way street, end quote. No, this is Bill Belichick being petty. Bill Belichick writes a book about his football life and doesn't mention Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
I mean, you rip him. Take a chapter to rip him. Like, that's not taking the high road. That's selectively, it's just a selective history of your life. It's, that stuff like that is just, it's really, I don't, again, I keep coming back to, like, he just doesn't get it.
Well,
it makes him look bad.
And what was his motto, his catchphrase for all those years in New England, right? Do your job.
Right.
And don't be worrying about all this other stuff. And it just feels like he's so worried about all this other stuff, right? Like, it's the Robert Kraft stuff. Clearly that has affected it. Look, I think it's also obvious that toward the end of his time in New England, Brady going somewhere else and winning without him really bothered him. I think it really bothered him. Like, he's worried about all this other stuff. Yeah, and look, to bring the girlfriend into it, go back and look at some of those emails, right? Like, when the emails came out and, like, just the amount of crap that they were worried about, and make sure that she's CC'd on every email. It's like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Because you seem to be worried about a whole lot of things that really don't have anything to do with winning football games out there.
Yeah, and then that is certainly at the least, that's a distraction that can't be helping him do his job well.
No, absolutely not. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Some other news in college football that I think a lot of fans will like. I am very interested to see how this actually plays out in practice. We will get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. On September the 18th, Tim McGraw performing at Trinetics' Rock the Cradle in Nashville, a meaningful event supporting newborns and moms at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown. Get your tickets now at rockthecradlenashville.org. Joe, changes coming to the transfer portal in college football. The NCAA FBS Oversight Committee, and boy, are there a lot of committees out there, but the NCAA FBS Oversight Committee voted to move to a January transfer window, which would eliminate the spring window. And Joe, I'm clicking on several different stories about this, and pretty much all of them just have Nico Iamaleava and a nice Vols uniform at the top of it there. So that's the first person you think of when you think about all this. Also, the committee is proposing basically to make the whole month of December a dead period for recruiting. So you got the dead period in December and then the transfer window in January, which I believe would begin on January the 2nd of next year in 2026. So the one-time transfer window in January has been voted on, and now the spring window has been eliminated. What do you make of this? What do you think this does for college football specifically, and is this a good thing?
Well, it's an improvement. I mean, you know, it's look, this is one of those where I think coaches, absolutely, this is coaches winning. This is what they want. Now, not all of them. Ryan Day has expressed some reservations about this. Ryan Day is a guy who is going to be coaching a team. He probably figures well into January. So to him, like if you're basically if you're one of those few teams that's moving on the playoff, I'm trying to think after January 2nd, basically, that gets you down to would it just be the semis after that? Semis and then the title?
Yeah, so like when let's say January, let's take this date, January
New Year's
2nd
Day is the
2026, the
quarters.
quarters would have just happened at that point.
So, you're one of the last 4 teams standing. This is still going to be, whatever, like the kid who, that you would love to hold on to, who's young, but is like, nope, I'm never going to play here, then bails on the team, and it's a distraction. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. I think this is good. And look, for players, I mean, the bottom line is when players had the 2 windows, there is like, see how spring ball goes, and like it can help players to look around. So, I mean, it's never going to be perfect. I do agree with my coworker and our friend of the show, Stu Mandel, on like, this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, it'd be great to see this now that the players are, I mean, like, the players are getting paid. The players should have more say in things, that they should, this should be a collective bargaining topic, but it's not what it is. So when it comes down to it, I think this is to have one window. It'll be less chaotic. I think overall it's probably the best thing I could come up with. And, the dead period in December is good. Another thing I would say about this is another reason to make this better. Move things back. I mean, I think that the semis should be around New Year's Day, and then you have one more thing. Last year seemed like an just interminable season. We were, of course, had never seen anything like it before, and this is why like championship weekend to me should be the start of the playoff and et cetera. But then people are going to be like, well, you just cost me revenue. So, and if you do that, that can never happen.
No, can't have that. Can't have that. Yeah, I think the one-time window is a good thing. I think, as I've talked about before, from a college football fan standpoint, I don't really care about players getting paid. Make your money. It's fine. Doesn't bother me. I don't think it bothers most people. Like, I think people in general have accepted the fact and probably agree with the fact that the players need to be paid to some degree. What bothers me to no end, and I think bothers a lot of college football fans, is how much movement there is. Like, I don't think there needs to be no movement, but I don't think you need to have the opportunity to leave 5 times a year either. Like, I think one time, and you make your decision, and then you live with it, right? Like, you're either there or you're not, and you don't get to reevaluate and redecide in the spring when time rolls around. And this is not just a Nico Iamaleava thing. Like, I think the less player movement we have in college football, I think the better off it is, actually. Like, I don't think you should go to the extremes of just not allowing people to transfer. And I don't love the idea of, players having to sit out a year like we used to do it when they transferred, but trying to rein this in a little bit. I think this has been the biggest problem in the sport over the last few years. And I'm with anything that tries to curtail this a little bit. And I'm hopeful that this does it.
Yeah. No, I agree. The movement is the problem. I think more people, I think there's a lot of people who maybe early had an issue with this is supposed to be amateurs, but it's like, hey, you thought that there was just
a lot of money flowing around for something that's supposed to be amateurs.
No cream cheese on the bagel. Yeah, I agree. No, it's every single year teams switching up half their team. No, it makes for less attachment to the players, but I also think that needs to be addressed with contractually, right? I mean, that's, again, how do you do that? I mean, I think you have to have people at a table bargaining for it. But I mean, I think if you have more contracts, and there is more of that going on, which is like, there are like more boosters who are trying to build in like penalties when people leave. But then again, it's also hard to sometimes enforce that. But I agree. People, here's an interesting quote from an agent, said that, basically he tells his clients, the spring portal, you don't want to get into that anyway. January is better unless you're like an absolute. Again, Nico would be one of those.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whoa, huge. That was always a huge news story. But for the most part, if you're bailing out in the spring, that probably isn't good for you. You might be sitting in that portal for a while.
Yeah.
Right. So, like for most people, for most players, this should work. You get through the season and you just kind of look around. Like it's never gonna be perfect. Like, oh no, they brought in this guy. Okay, oh, I'm down the depth chart. I gotta go. Like sometimes you have to stick it out. I mean, that's. I mean, and there are a lot of kids who, frankly, by sticking it out in a place just because they're not getting the instant gratification might end up being better for them.
Yeah, I agree. And again, not totally eliminating player movement because I think some of it's good, right? Like the idea, like Florida State's a great example. Florida State, awful last year. And the fact that they got back in the portal and they changed up their roster. And look, we'll see what they do the rest of the year. It's been one game. But so far, through one game, pretty impressive what they've been able to kind of retool and put together there. So, like from that standpoint, if you're a fan, like you look at your team and it's like, well, you can change it pretty significantly from year to year. Just because you're bad one year doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be bad the next year. So, like, I understand people who like that part of it. I just think we got through a point when this whole thing first started. It got to a point for a few years where it was crazy, like the amount of player movement. Like there were guys that were playing 4 years at 4 different places. Like it's just nuts the way that went down.
Yeah, and for the most part, that's just not. It's not good. I totally buy into the idea of like, when you're at a place and you stick it out and you're there, you build relationships, you build, these are some things that can beyond whatever money you're getting in the short term. These are lifelong relationships that can really, this could lead to careers and things like that,
Yep.
right? I mean, it's just not to mention that you are supposed to be getting a degree. And again, most of these people, I mean, athletes still have a higher graduation rate than regular people. Let's remember that. But we always think of like the people who are definitely going to the NFL who don't care about it. But it is a big part of this. It is still school. Jason Glitzville says, "What about one free move and then the next sit out a year?" The courts have basically said like you can't again now that people have figured out going to the courts and they're like, oh yeah, this is America where you're allowed to like make money for your services. Yeah, no, that's illegal. So it's just not going to happen. But
I mean, in concept, I don't hate that idea, but you're right. It's not going to happen.
Right. Like the courts have basically said, like, you can't do it. So again, this is where you get into contracts that bind you, which is fine. That's what they do in the pros. This is the minor leagues of the NFL.
It is 615-737-1025. Our phone number. Back into the Titans and the Broncos coming up next. The 5 most important Titans, whose name is not Cam Ward, coming up this weekend for the Titans to get a win. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning. Teron Davenport will be with us at 8 o'clock. We will get into the matchup for the Titans against the Denver Broncos with him. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. So our 5 most important non-Cam Ward Tennessee Titans for 2025. I said this game in the last segment. It's not, but I guess you could put it in this game too.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be, if it's for the whole season, you could
similar
slice it up and say for each game. Right?
We're going for the whole season. As much as I think, Joey Sly could be very important this weekend for the Tennessee Titans. We'll see.
True. 75-yard field goals can help you.
Yeah, yes, it can. So let's have you go first. Your top 5 non-Cam Ward most important Tennessee Titans for 2025.
You sure you don't want to switch it to top 5 Titans most likely to spit on someone?
Well,
Jeff Simmons. Jeff
Simmons
has been
on that list,
he's been accused of doing that.
Yes.
Who was that from the Ravens?
It was
Yonda.
Yes.
There you go.
Yonda.
There you go. I'm trying to remember what Jeff said about that. Anyway, be interested to get his take on what
Tell PK ask him.
Yeah, exactly. PK did ask he asked the question that we told him to ask the other day.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, got the whole
the
locker room.
There, he showed up.
Yeah, I guess, man. Yeah, I guess good to he shows up to some stuff. Okay, so mine are in order. I'm just going 1 through 5.
Okay.
I mean, number 1 to me is Daniel Moore. He's a left tackle, and I think
went full first name there too. Daniel Moore.
Does he just go by Dan? Danny? What are we calling him?
Big Danny Moore.
Big Danny
number
Moore.
1.
Why did I call him Daniel?
I don't know.
Dan Moore.
I don't think I've heard anyone
or
call
Daniel.
him that.
Well, Cameron Ward and Daniel Moore. Daniel Ward protecting Cameron Ward. Okay. I think he's my clear number 1. If he's good or better, that's just a huge signing. If he's just solid, that's a huge upgrade from what they've been there. And you have to be solid. You have to be solid there. I think he's got a chance to be, but I'm there's things that could tell you both things about Dan Moore.
Sure.
So we'll see. But I think he's clear number 1. My number 2 is Jeff Simmons, just because I think if this team is going to do anything, he has to be great. Like, this has to be a return to 2021 Jeff Simmons kind of year. I think he is in the kind of physical shape, emphasizing quickness to really make more plays, finish more plays in the backfield. He's got to be an all-pro level player. And I do think that he is one of the few people on this roster, and he's the number 1 candidate to be an all-pro level player still. Is he? I don't know. I'm not saying this, but I do like what he did. I think what he did makes sense. I think he still has his power, but again, we'll see how it plays out. But if this team's going to do something, he has to be great. My number 3 is J.C. Latham. The trenches are very heavy in my list. Like, you go more, but then I think you go to the other tackle too. He's got to be, a crusher in the run game, and he's got to be solid. And because even if Moore is good, if you have an issue at right tackle, as we saw with NPF last year, then if you have a huge issue at either side, where it's like you just have to devote help all the time to that person, just limit your offense. So J.C. Latham got himself in much better shape. Good for him. Does that translate? And the switch back to the right side, does that translate into good tackle play? Are you going to have 2 good tackles plus a great Jeff Simmons? Okay, if you get all 3 of those things, I start thinking better about the outlook of the team. But my number 4 is Tavondre Sweat. So I'm all trenches here. But Sweat is, again, it's right there. Simmons can be great, but what really elevates him is if Sweat is a problem for people. And it just becomes this, who the hell do we double? You can't double both interior guys all the time. And one of them's making plays regularly because teams have to make tough choices. Is he in great shape? I mean, this week, I think you have to have limited expectations for him. But for the whole season, yeah, 2nd-round pick. I mean, that's this year that needs to pay off. Just like next year with Oladejo is going to be like, okay, are you this year we'll see. But I mean, next year it's like you got to be a player next year if you're Oladejo. I don't care. Like the project lasts a year, and then you got to be a player. And my number 5, you could have gone a million different ways here. Like I'm assuming, like Ridley, I think is gonna be good. Pollard, I think is gonna be good. So I set those guys aside. I can't buy Snead as a huge thing, so he's not on my list. My 5th guy is Amani Hooker because he's also a guy who misses time, has missed a fair amount of time, is a very good player. Is he still a very good player? Is he a very good player who can be on the field? If so, again, he's a great he's a great leader and sort of quarterback of the defense back there at safety. If you get a full season of that and he's still that level of player, I mean, I think that's a big deal. So I went with him.
So there you go. We talked off the air about how many we would have that were the same because we have not seen each other's lists. 2 of the 5 are the same, and they're the first 2. Dan Moore's my number 1. Jeff Simmons is my number 2 for the reasons that you just laid out there. I don't need to go back through it. My 3 is Ridley. I think it's important for Ridley to not just be good. Like he's got to be top level Ridley. Like they don't have until otherwise proven, and maybe Io Manor turns into something. But until otherwise proven, they don't have anybody else right now that I feel great about throwing the ball to. And I don't know exactly what that's going to look like this weekend in particular when you're going up against Pat Surtain and that defense. We'll see. But I think, number 1, it's critical that Ridley stays healthy this year because if he doesn't, that is bad news for Cam Ward. And one of the best things for your quarterback is having a reliable target that when stuff hits the fan, he knows where to go with the ball. And I think Ridley is crucial for that part of it this year. My number 4 is Femi Oladejo. And I'll tell you why. I have zero faith in the Titans edge rusher group. None. Like Arden Key is a serviceable player. Draymond Jones has been a serviceable player throughout his career in the NFL. But unless one of those guys just has some out-of-body experience that we've not seen them have in the NFL, you know what they are, which is serviceable players that, frankly, are just not going to get the quarterback all that much. I don't have a ton of confidence that Femi Oladejo is either, but I'm hoping that the traits that the Titans identified that they clearly like, which was why they took him where they took him in the draft, as the season goes on, there's some development there, and he gets to a spot, hopefully sooner rather than later this year, where he is ready to go out there and be a major contributor. Because from a talent standpoint, like he's going to have to be the one that eventually gets to the quarterback. And if he doesn't do it at edge rusher at some point this year, I don't think they can. Like, I don't think they can do it from that spot. And I just think that's, if you can't, with your edge rushers, get to the quarterback with any sort of consistency whatsoever, that's such a huge problem. Like, I think it's such a huge limitation to what you can do defensively. So he's my number 4. And 5, I do have Snead, because I think for this team specifically, what he is going to tell a big story about this defense. If he's anything close to what they traded for him to be a couple years ago, which I have serious doubts about. But if he is, then to me, that's a big deal on the back end. If he's not, and you get out there and it's just some guy, and either he's not available or he is available and he's not close to the same player, well, then I look at the Titans corner group and I'm like, yeah, it's okay. But then that's a combination of maybe an okay corner group and a defense that's not very gifted at getting to the passer. And I just think that spells disaster for you on the defensive side of the ball. So my top 5, Dan Moore Jr., Jeff Simmons, Calvin Ridley, Femi Oladejo, L'Jarius Sneed. My top 5 most important Titans for 2025.
So we have a total then of 8.
Yeah.
We have a total of 8 guys. Yeah, I mean, look.
I mean, we've gotten several votes on the text line for, like, if you just want to go across the offensive line 1 through 5, they could be your top 5.
Yeah. Well, I did think about Cushenberry too. You know, it's like, I mean, he was good last year, was fine, but then he gets hurt, and it's like, you know, tackles, but then your center is awfully important too. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, Peter Skoronski. Is he going to be fine, or is he going to be, oh, wow, that guy actually, I mean, like, guards do matter. And they make
They
up
do.
40% of an offensive line. So, and again, in the run game, I mean, I think that's a big deal. But yeah, I mean, look, obviously Snead, if they do get that, I just don't buy it, you know. But if they do get that, that's a massive accelerator potentially.
I don't buy it either. I just think they need it, right? Like they if they don't get it, frankly, if they don't get Oladejo at some point to be effective at rushing the passer, and Snead isn't their number one corner, this has a chance to be a terrible defense. I'm sorry. Like I look at it, and if you can't rush the passer and you can't cover really, really well, I mean, is there anything that spells more of a disaster than that in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball? Like a combination of not being able to get to the quarterback and not being able to cover all that long. I mean, I'm not a genius here, but that seems like a really bad combination.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I would always pick the pass rush of the two of those.
I would agree.
I mean, you can make up for a lot of flaws by just affecting the quarterback. You can make yourselves look a lot better in the back end by getting the quarterback. But yeah, no, they have a chance. They do. They have a chance to be a pretty bad defense. There's no doubt.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We've given our top 5 non-Cam Ward most important Tennessee Titans for the 2025 season. What are yours? We'll take those submissions on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. More coming up next on the Titans. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Later today on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, the Sounds take on Norfolk. First pitch at 5:35. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at theGameNashville.com. Sounds baseball on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Taking your thoughts on the Titans at 615-737-1025. Jacob on YouTube says, I think Gunnar Helm will be important, or another secondary pass catcher for whenever teams double or bracket Calvin Ridley. I did give some consideration to Gunnar Helm for my top 5. I think he is a little bit outside the top 5, but certainly important. Look, I think you could make an argument for for Jarvis Brownlee. So, especially like if you don't have faith in Snead being healthy, then Brownlee becomes critical at that point, right? Like, how good is he? What's that going to look like out there? So you could go that way with it. Again, a lot of people voting for several members of the offensive line in this discussion as well.
Yeah. And Skyler saying that the Callahan should be one of the 5. I guess I did say, I was like, well, he's not a player, but I mean, we technically said Titans. I mean, I guess he is a Titan. If you're the Titan coach, are you a Titan?
I mean, technically, yeah, you're a Titan.
Okay. So, yeah, look, coaching is important. So I would definitely agree with that. That
right there is a Titan.
Nice. Oh my God, what was that from?
It's Brinker, some type of Brinker impersonation.
Oh, okay, all right. It's like everyone in the league doesn't want tough people who are good at like football and smart. We want dumb, weak players who are very finesse oriented. We're going to try something different here, okay?
Softer the better.
Yeah. We're a white-collar team.
We'd really like people to avoid contact if at all possible.
Yeah. We have no chips on our shoulders at all. Our shoulders are completely clear of chips. None. We have everybody thinks we're good.
Yeah.
No one says we're bad.
Yeah. We really enjoy all this positive press we're getting heading into the year.
Yeah.
Keith says, whoever's returning punts, special team lost us so many games last year. That'd be Tim DK to start. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Also, can you tackle somebody on special teams?
Is that a top 5, Keith?
I would say no.
No. But Keith also came up with Furious George for George Dorman yesterday, which I hope is like
George McIntyre, but yeah.
Who did I say? George Dorman. Oh my gosh, that's someone I work with. Yeah, George McIntyre.
It could be Furious George too.
Yes. But that's just a great. Like, I've never heard Furious George. Like, George Foreman should have been Furious George Foreman.
I agree.
That's awesome.
I agree. No, I mean, look, there's plenty of Titans that are quote unquote important this year. The 5 guys that I listed, I think, are pretty foundational elements of whether or not they're going to have success this year. Like, that's kind of how I view it. Everybody knows the quarterback's number 1 on the list, but taking him out of it, like if Dan Moore Jr. is solid at left tackle, how big a deal is that? Like, to me, that's got to be a pretty big deal. Like, we've seen what it looks like when you don't have that on the offensive line. And look, I've said it. He did not make my top 5. He's shortly, thereafter, you put him at 6 or 7, somewhere on that list. But J.C. Latham this year, I'm not looking for serviceable. I'm not looking for okay on the right side. I'm looking for really good. Like, you took him number 7 overall. At the time, you told us it was to be the franchise left tackle, and then you moved him to right tackle a year later, which is fine if Dan Moore turns out to be good. But J.C. Latham needs to end up being great at right tackle. And I said it earlier in the offseason. I'll say it again now. One of the things we need to be talking about when this season ends, and I don't know what their record's going to be. I have no idea about any of that. But one of the things we need to be talking about is, they have like a really, really good player at right tackle in J.C. Latham. And if we're not talking about that at the end of the year, that will be very disappointing to me.
Right. Not to make too much of the comparisons of past teams, but Latham needs to be somewhere in the realm of, again, Jack Conklin comes in 2016. It's like, oh, geez, they got a right tackle, and obviously Ben Jones comes in that year, and you need Cushenberry. You need those guys to be solid. I mean, the Titans, that's where they were strong before, both tackles and center. Does guard matter? Sure. Nate Davis mattered when they got him too. So if you have a guy like Skoronski can take another step. I mean, the offensive line is look, the investment, there's no question, right? Look at where the picks were and the payouts to the free agents. I mean, they've invested, and it's not just this front office, it predates them, but like the investment level and the amount of time they've played in the league, which isn't a lot, tells you that there is a possibility that this could turn into a pretty good group. And by the way, the guy coaching them,
yeah,
one bad year of the offensive line, bad take by him/them that like Nicholas Petit-Frere could be fine. Clearly, they botched that, right? But does that eradicate decades of offensive line coaching in the NFL that was awfully good? No. So, like, there is reason for some optimism there. And yes, thank you, Liam McLeod. You want kind of guys who bring their sushi in a lunch pail. That's right, baby. That's right.
Those are good. Great smell that leaves behind too. Yeah, the trenches are so important, and I think we all expect the offensive line to be better. Like Sweat, I left him off my top 5. You could easily put him in the top 5. And it's not just who's occupying the double team, which I do think is very important. But
nobody runs on the Titans.
Well, nobody runs on the Titans, but like, what level pass rusher is he going to be? Right? Like, I know it's defensive tackle, and you don't necessarily rely on those guys to get after the quarterback. But I mean, that is what they talked about this offseason, and they're on record saying it. That's what they want from him. They want him to be more effective of getting after the passer. And again, with how just frankly bad I think they are at edge rusher right now, if he's not helping out getting after the quarterback, I continue to look around and say, where in the world is the pressure on the quarterback coming from? If it's not going to be number one from Simmons, and if Sweat doesn't take a step there, you're every now and then contributions from Key and Draymond Jones. Oladejo, what is he? Like, there's just so many questions about who's going to do that on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if Simmons has a big uptick and actually getting the QB to the ground, again, Sweat is just more of you have to double him. It makes it hard to run here and there. He gets in there, then I think that can be fine. Both of them actually getting sacks would be quite a revelation. Another person that I could have put on here that I thought about is Cedric Gray, because first of all, they're going to have to create pass rush with pressures.
Yep.
There's no doubt. But also, like, I think Barton was a good pickup. I feel like he's going to be a solid linebacker for them. Is Cedric Gray ready to be at like a plus starting linebacker in the NFL? Because if he is, again, that position gets ignored more than it should be in the NFL. That's a big deal for a defense. So he was not far outside of my top 5. He kind of a revelation in the preseason, but sometimes those things kind of fizzle out once you get into actual football games.
615-737-1025. Our phone number. Will continue to discuss the Titans matchup with the Broncos coming up next. TD will be with us at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I got some tickets to give away. A 4-pack of tickets to see the Mexican national team take on Korea Republic at Geodis Park coming up on Tuesday, September 9th. Be caller 3, 615-737-1025. Caller 3 will win some tickets to see the Mexican national team take on Korea Republic at Geodis Park coming up on Tuesday. Rapid fire thoughts on the Tennessee Titans from you all. DK in Mount Juliet says, when have the Titans not overdrafted a mediocre lineman? How dare they draft a playmaker? I think a lot of Titans fans feel that way. It was interesting getting Kuharski on the other day, Joe, where it was like, well, I feel like they still need another wide receiver and definitely need an edge rusher. And they might need a running back coming up. And, if Snead's not any good, may need to draft another cornerback. And it's like, here we are again. You're like 4 positions deep in a draft that we all know that they need already, which is, I think, goes to show you where they're at as a football team right now.
Yes, they still have a lot of needs. So wait, read that comment again, though. They said they always draft mediocre linemen.
When have the Titans not overdrafted mediocre linemen?
Yeah. Well, Conklin. Nate Davis is pretty good.
We'll see on Latham.
Taylor Lewan. Yeah, but to that point, obviously you went through a heck of a stretch with your Isaiah Wilson, Radens, and PF run. Yep. That's a first, second, and third right there. Oh boy, a first, second, and third for Wilson, Radens, and NPF. That's brutal.
Yeah,
that's brutal. So, but yeah, Skronsky's already better than any of those 3, right?
Yes,
would you agree? And I'd probably say Latham is too. So, but we'll see if they can be good. Can you be good?
Well, that's the thing. When you're drafting players in those positions, you need them to be very good players,
exactly.
Foundational type players. One texter, dumb question. If Snead was good, wouldn't the Chiefs have kept him? Maybe. I don't know. How concerned were they about the injury? Good players do get traded in this league. They see Micah Parsons just got traded from the Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers.
That is true. So
AJ Brown got traded.
The Cowboys might want to tell you, yeah, he's not that good. But yeah, right. Good players get traded. Now, I do think the Chiefs, as much as it was kind of like, man, who cares? He doesn't practice. Look at this guy play. We're probably like, yeah, if it's that to that point,
right?
How much more time left of this guy being that level of corner do we have? This would be a good time to trade him. Oh, The Titans want to give us a 2nd-round pick? Yep. Let's jump on that.
Slick from Adamsville on the text line asking, I wonder how much Cody Barton's knowledge of the Broncos offense will help our defense this Sunday.
Yeah.
Joe, is that any sort of factor in this game for you?
Yeah, I don't know. Players switch teams all the time in this league. So, as far as knowledge of their offense, they're all going to have knowledge of the offense. They're going to have it completely broken down. The Broncos also have stuff this week that's completely foreign to the Titans because it's week 1, right?
Yep. The problem is Cody Barton's also not going to know when they're calling the plays. It's like he may know after the plays run. I remember what that play was called, but
right.
He can't give you foreknowledge of when they're calling the play.
Yeah. Now I guess if they're doing some of the same stuff, but again, it's like it's all in the helmet to the QB anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Knowing personnel, does that help you a little bit? I guess. You're playing football, high speed. You got to read your keys as a linebacker. And so I don't really think that that's a big deal.
I would almost argue Cody Barton is more important inside linebacker than either of the other 2, right? Gray or Williams, given.
I just think
how good is he?
Well, I just think he'll be good.
Well,
the other ones are more wild cards, right?
Yeah. My biggest thing is if they lose Cody Barton, then they're in big time trouble.
Oh, sure.
So
wow.
I don't know how much of an impact he'll make, but the fact he needs to be on the field, because if he's not, and you have to play both Gray and Williams, then that could be a significant drop off.
Well, the bottom line is injuries would affect every team, but there are some teams in the NFL where you lose a guy or two, and you go through their roster, and it's like, man, they'd be in some serious trouble. Like I said earlier, if Ridley goes down, this receiving core is in a world of hurt, right? It's a big problem if he goes down. There are several position groups you can look at with the Titans that if one guy goes down, they're in some big trouble. And that's not always the case in the NFL. It certainly is the case with this team.
Yeah, for sure.
It's usually the case with quarterback, but beyond that in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, there's teams where, like, if you took, like, again, the Chargers, I mean, I think people look at them differently, and I do too. When you lose your left tackle like that, how is your depth? How can you respond to that? Titans obviously don't have enough of it. So, but yeah, I agree. Like Barton, I think he'll be good. I think Barton will be good, and I agree that he would be. They did bring in Kazir White, right, to add to the depth there. But yeah, they'd be in a world of hurt. My question is, because at this time of year, you just assume health. We know that there will be injuries, but like you assume health, unless we're talking about guys who that's the big question, which is like a Snead, right? But my question is, does Barton have like a Cedric Gray ready to be like a good compliment to him? Then they can. Then the running on the Titans thing, which is someone's texting such a dumb statement for so many reasons, is maybe this year they actually can get back to stopping the run at a decent level.
Let's head back to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Adam in Portland to the program. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, so I'm picking the Titans 17-14 this weekend. And here's the deal. I understand where we are. I'll just say that. It's going to have to be a week-by-week season. I know we've all been married for a long time. If you've ever seen the newlyweds, they're like, I don't know, they're a little too cute all the time. They don't realize how hard it actually is. Like, I understand that that's where I'm at in this with this season. It's probably going to get a lot harder. But right now, I think anybody can beat anybody, and I'll go 17-14 Titans.
Nice. Go, Adam.
But just tell me, because that's a low score. So you feel good about the Titans defense then? You feeling good about the Titans?
He dropped.
He bailed.
All right. Okay.
I thought he was going to call in and say his one of his 5 most important players was the punter, Johnny Heckert this year.
I thought that could happen. We heard early in the offseason about how important he's going to be.
He may be active a lot. He may get a lot of opportunities to make an impact
Sly
on games.
and Hecker.
Tell you what, though, you can flip that field in Denver. You imagine Stonehouse punting in Denver. You punt from your goal line, and you end up at the other goal line.
I know. If you could carry like a backup punter on your team, like an active roster,
I saw
and a
a
game day
college
roster.
punter do that this week. I saw a highlight.
Yeah,
I think someone hit 70-yard punt.
Yeah.
Like, Ryan, we really need you to just come in here and boot it. Don't worry about out kicking your coverage or placing the ball or kicking it inside the 20 or landing it on the 10. None of those things. Just boot it as far as you can.
Does he even have that power anymore, though?
I don't know.
I mean, because obviously his short game was not great, but it was like, okay, well, still, this guy's insane. If he was that insane, still, he'd still be in the league, right?
You would think,
but that would be the place to send him.
That would be. Go punt for Denver.
Yeah,
that's right. Hey, Joey Sly could be a very important Titan this year too. They need all the points they can get. They need him to be good, and if you're capable of making it from 62 every week, knock yourself out.
I mean, Joey Sly, missing a 41-yarder, that's what I worry about, right? It's like, how consistent is he going to be? But he showed you. That's one thing we saw in the preseason that, he is going to – it is a different deal than they've had recently with the reliable but not big-legged guys that they've had.
I need at least one attempt on Sunday of more than 65 yards from Sly. Just get him out there for one attempt in the altitude and just let him see if he can drill it out there.
Yeah. So if Cam has the ball shortly before half, or maybe it's setting up the game winner. Maybe it's setting up the game winner.
Could be.
At Adam's scenario to win at 17-14.
I need one attempt just to see. I mean, that's the perfect spot for it. I think it's going to be like 81 and sunny in Denver on Sunday. Right? I looked at it 2 days ago. I need to look at it now. Make sure that there's been no update to the forecast. But yeah, here we go. Sunday. 84 and sunny, even better.
Meanwhile, as you pointed out,
ball's going to fly up there in the altitude.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him take a shot at it. Meanwhile, so today we're in the 90s. Tomorrow we're at 70 as a high.
That's correct. Right?
Yeah,
great for the allergies.
Yeah, it'd be good.
I was going to say maybe I can explain my balloon head feeling. It's right there.
Adam has texted back in saying there's a very good chance we don't get our first sack of the season until week 5 or 6. Wow, it's week 6, and the Titans still have not sacked the quarterback one time.
They'll get Daniel Jones at least once.
Yeah, Daniel Jones may run into a sack.
You can get one. And what's his name? Stafford.
Yeah, especially like if Stafford, can't move in there.
I think they'll get at least some pressure generated. I do want to know, like, how many 4-man pressure sacks are they getting?
I don't think it's going to be a whole lot.
Any. Portland.
Portland and Adam.
Portland and Adam. Adam in Portland also says, I also think Bo Nix's success is as fake as brick wallpaper, and a sophomore slump's coming.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I do think that, you may be onto something. People may be just a little overboard with the Broncos. Let me see. Let me look at these athletic picks real quick for you. For example, like, I don't think anybody has them winning the actual AFC, but a lot of people, as we've talked about, have them winning.
A lot of people winning the division.
Yeah. And by the way, we did have one voter who picked, the only people picking any champions are the Ravens, Bills, or Chiefs. But we did have people who picked the Titans. One person picked the Titans as a surprise team. And I don't know who it was.
Like playoff surprise, or just are they surprised by, oh my God, they won 6 games? Is that a surprise?
Well, I think if you're picking a team as a surprise team, like the surprise team in the AFC, or if the Titans win 6 games, anybody in the AFC notice? Like, which team will be the biggest disappointment? Which team will be the biggest surprise? So it's not even the AFC; it's the whole NFL. That means you're winning.
That means you're like
9,
flirting with the playoffs.
Games.
Yeah,
I think you're in the playoffs, right? So I need to find out who that coworker is, but it wasn't me.
One texter says,
"Pick that."
I think we get 2 sacks on Sunday or for the season. That's what I'm trying to figure out. We talking this Sunday or for the whole year?
1 for every 8.5 games. That sounds good.
I mean, if they got 2 sacks this Sunday, I feel pretty good about it. I really would. I'd be like, way to go, guys. Way to get after the quarterback.
That would put them on a pace for 34,
which would be more than last year.
Yeah.
Which is depressing
which is not good, but
who will record the first sack of the Titans season?
I'll go Arden. Arden gets geared up for first games out there.
Cedric Gray.
Okay.
On a blitz.
I'll go Draymond Jones.
Okay. 3 different guys
we don't talk about him much. He's important too.
It's going to end up being like Roger McCreary on a corner blitz.
Well, that could be too. Hey, if you blitzes get home, great. Yeah. And that was a big thing with Denard Wilson. So, he's going to have to work some magic this year.
You know what I really want it to be? I want it to be Sweat. I need Sweat to be the guy. Yeah. This weekend in altitude when he hadn't been in camp all year or all camp to this point. Just get out there first game, get you a sack.
Sweat doing something would be a big positive.
Well, the Rex Rant coming up next. Take your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, Steve, stop doing those Mayo commercials. You might play some quarterback.
Mayo dip, be creamy. And your quarterback, dreamy.
Yards.
Oh, my filming is,
Elite.
pretty
Spectacular.
pretty good.
You better not have another biscuit.
Take off your robe. I'm not very good at assessing bodies with shirts on.
No, Archie, please don't do that.
See, there's me just yelling for no reason.
It is that time of the day, the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning here on the program. Joseph, with that in the backdrop, the Blink-182 impersonation, the floor is yours.
That is Blink-182 doing that?
That is somebody
Oh, no.
impersonating
Yeah.
Blink-182, impersonating Journey.
Yeah, that's right. We've talked about it. What is the name of that band? Why would you make that song? First of all, like you said, you sound exactly like Blink-182. So you're not even like, you're just like, you may as well just be like a Blink one of those, like, Blink-183
Tribute bands.
Yeah.
I've heard, on our show that South Detroit, good place. So anytime you can sing about it, probably a good time.
That's true. More about South Detroit in here.
Born and raised in South Detroit.
At least it's like, that's, thank you. Like, at least I feel better with hearing like the Steve Perry sing it, Okay, so I have to refocus on what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm gonna call out some family members today.
Oh boy.
Now, first of all, as I talked about last week, we lost my grandmother, so I am going to talk more about her today. Phyllis Pratt. I think I may have to bring up Phyllis a fair amount every once in a while. The Detroit Tigers, the magic number is 12, by the way, although I'm very concerned about their pitching staff. But in the days after losing my grandma, it was a bunch of pictures sent back and forth and like videos and stuff. My brother sent a video of her, like when she was like one time at his house in a Chewbacca mask. It was like one of those Chewbacca masks where it's like you can talk. I don't know if people know what I'm talking about, but it's like form fitting, and then like you can, like, it's on your face, but like your mouth is moving. It's really weird.
Kind of freaky.
It is kind of freaky. While she was playing like a board game, had a picture. We made her smoke a cigarette one time on a boat in French Lake, Indiana, which was like, talk about random, right? But we just had a lot of great. We had a lot of great memories and things like that back and forth. And then this picture came on my phone, and it was my grandmother 10 years ago, 87 years old. She's just going into a football game at the University of Maryland. And they took the picture was of her like going in right. They took a picture right by the sign of no alcohol allowed in the stadium. So she was 87 years old. She flew up from Florida. So long story short, I covered Michigan State. Michigan State played at Maryland. So we had a little family reunion. She flew up from, at 87. Sure, just fly up, go to a football game, tailgate on a cold day with everybody. I kind of went separately, went to the press box. I kind of didn't hang out with them. Okay. My siblings and my wife smuggled a bottle of Fireball cinnamon whiskey on the person of my grandmother. And here's what's worse. They said, hey, let's have her walk in with Brennan, and then they'll never search her. There's no way they'll search her. So my little 8-year-old Brennan holding hands with my 87-year-old grandmother going to the ball game. They made my grandmother a whiskey smuggling mule at a football game, and I must call out my siblings and my wife for this.
It's kind of genius when you think about it.
I mean, it's pretty smart. And
Did she get searched?
No, of course not. This is a sweet grandmother coming into a football game with their sweet little grandson.
Pretty smart.
Of course not. But I mean, like when you really it's fun, right? And we look at the pictures, but then I think back on it, it's like you guys were at a tailgate and you said, what can we do to smuggle in a bottle of Fireball cinnamon whiskey? And you chose our sweet Phyllis Pratt. So you get called out. But it's another nice memory. Don't do this at home with your grandmother's children.
Now, was she excited about this? Was she hesitant to do this? Was there a great deal of let's get in there. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
No, Phil. I mean, first of all, she loved her family, so she wanted to play. I think she kind of thought it was funny. I mean, frankly, but I still have to call them out because I mean, come on, it's kind of bad.
I mean, she volunteered for it and said, "Yes, give it to me." But now you're calling the family.
It wasn't her idea. Don't get me wrong. So, but yeah, of course she was a good sport about it. Just like again, like seriously, hey grandma, here, smoke this cigarette so we can take a picture. This is hilarious.
By the way, big weekend.
Don't use your grandmother as a mascot.
Big weekend for the Tigers. They got the White Sox coming up, who may or may not at some point be the Nashville White Sox. We'll see what happens. But your hatred for the White Sox runs deep. Be a good time tonight and this weekend for the Tigers to get in there and get some wins.
You're looking at that, like the matchup right there. What's the White Sox record?
They are 53-88.
Yeah, that sounds about beautiful. That sounds absolutely beautiful. Let's get you to 100 losses, guys. We can do it. Let's have another 100-loss season for the Chicago White Sox.
Here's the stat that I cannot get over. And Kuharski and I were looking at this a couple of weeks ago. It's like the White Sox are pretty bad, right? Like they're, we just went through their record. The Orioles are bad. Orioles have a run differential of -81. White Sox is -78. You get down to the Angels, it's like, man, their run differential is -102. Then you get to the Nationals and you're like, man, they suck. It's -170. And then you get to the Colorado Rockies with a run differential in Major League Baseball of -364.
Oh, my God.
-364, the run differential for the Colorado Rockies, who are 39-101.
Well, what's the record?
39-101. They've already reached.
No, what's the record?
Oh, the record. I looked this up. So apparently the MLB record for run differential, negative run differential, is like way back in the day. Like it's like -700 and something.
Yeah, according to this, I'd have to go back and check the AI Google thing. -700.
You lose every game by an average of 6 runs?
1899.
1899 Cleveland Spiders, -723.
Oh, my God. That almost shouldn't count. 19th century, and it was
the modern
Cleveland
era
Spiders.
It's from 1932, the Red Sox.
Oh. This would be the worst since then. The Red Sox in 32 were -345.
Still thinking about trading Babe Ruth back then. Yep.
And the Rockies are at -364.
Wow.
It's hard to do.
Meanwhile, the Tigers are good.
Where you've got a whole city of people now rooting for the Tigers.
I'm going to be I do. And I have a few weeks here to gear up for the inevitable disappointment. William from Madison, when you're in French Lick, do we pay respect to the great Larry Bird? Yeah, we did go to a bar that was just called Bar, and this dude told us how he built like a raft when he was 5 years old with Larry Bird.
I thought you were going to tell us like Larry Bird just walked in there and showed up.
No, we didn't see Larry. We did see the courts that he used to dominate in French Lick. Yeah.
Did you step out there? Like this is the greatest.
We did go hoop on the
This is the
court.
greatest basketball this floor has seen since Bird.
That's right. We did go hoop on that court. Keith says, my wife and I took a youth group on a mission trip to Jamaica, and I smuggled back a couple bottles of rum in kids' bags. Great story, Joe. I mean, that's an interesting, there's it's like good and bad in there.
615-737-1025.
Tell us your best smuggling stories.
Teron Davenport will join us coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on the matchup for the Titans against Denver. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
ESPN's Turon Davenport, Talking Titans, now on Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week, the first time this year in the regular season that we welcome our good friend Turon Davenport to the program. Presented by Bart Durham Injury Law on our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. TD, good morning, buddy. How we doing?
Good morning. Good morning. What's going on?
Not a lot, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. So, TD, we understand that looking at this Denver defense, it's not a great matchup for the Titans on paper, and it's one of the best defenses in the NFL. So, if you're Brian Callahan, if you're Nick Holtz, what's the best way with how the Titans are currently constructed to go about attacking this on Sunday in your mind?
Yeah, I think that first drive, you really got to go in and run the football. But here's the problem. They were number 3 against the run last year. But at the same time, you know what you do well. You know what your strength is. And right now, it's running the football, with that offensive line. Tony Pollard, one of their best offensive players. So that's what they got to do. Go in there, punch them in the mouth, and get the crowd out early and then, play some defense. That's really the big thing. And then you could work Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley and that passing game into it.
So, speaking of running the ball, TD, Pollard, I think is going to obviously get a lot of work all year. But with Tyjae Spears out, I would think that Pollard probably is a 3-down guy. Like, do you feel like they're going to weave in like a chestnut some? I mean, Mullings, anything beyond short yards, or is this just going to be all Pollard all day?
No, I think they're going to weave in Julius Chestnut, maybe Mullins. He worked on a side field earlier this week, and he's kind of working his way back into practice with a new number, by the way.
Yeah.
I think really is just going to be, Pollard, and he's capable of catching the ball at the backfield. So if they want to go empty or motion him into empty, they could do that.
TD, when you look at Ward, the preseason that he had, and, we've talked with you about his readiness heading into week 1, but I guess what are you most interested to see with him on Sunday? Is it operationally? Just what comes to mind when you think about Ward and his NFL debut?
Yeah, I want to see him against the blitz. That's the main thing. I actually have a story posted tomorrow about the preparation process, and I did some research and found some pretty interesting things when you talk about the blitz, because this whole narrative that, hey, he has to, stop turning the football over and those types. The guy has 7 interceptions at Miami last year, 7, right? And then you look at when he was blitzed, he was second with I think it was like 2 interceptions against the blitz, and he was second among 130 qualifying quarterbacks, QBR wise, and he was second in touchdowns too. So you look at the Broncos, Sean Payton, he's already said it, right? He said, hey, look, we're going to see how he handles pressure, and we're going to attack him. And so that being said, this team, they had 31% of their snaps last year they blitzed. That's 10th in the league, right? And you look at going against Cameron Ward and the Titans, you always blitz a rookie. But the thing that's interesting about it is they don't have to, get away from their DNA. That's what they do anyway. So it's going to be pretty cool watching that matchup. Cam, I asked him about the blitz, and he was just like, know where your protection is, get the ball out, and keep them from killing you. So I like that. He has the right mindset, and we'll see what happens.
Pressure on the other side of the ball, TD. I mean, it seems to me, the Titans are going to have to. They're going to have to manufacture pass rush this year a fair amount of the time. First of all, is Cedric Gray – it looked like there was some promising signs there as a blitzer in the preseason. Is he maybe one of those guys who has a regular role in that? And what else, just in terms of the pass rush, do you think? We know Arden Key can do. We don't know with Oladejo. I just mentioned, we don't talk about Draymond Jones a lot. Obviously, the interior pass rush is really important, but where does it come from, TD?
Yeah, you mentioned Cedric Gray, and watching him from last year to this, that's one of the things, the millions of things I love so much about what we get to do, right? Because I remember watching Cedric Gray's film in college, and I'm like, this dude is all over. He was my second favorite linebacker after Ed Jenkins, that's in Green Bay. You know what I mean? And just watching the way he just was all over the football field, playing with, reckless abandon, having the GPS for the football, all of those catchphrases he was doing. But then last year, you saw him just so confused, not confused, but just trying to catch up, right, and processing everything. But now that dude is playing fast. So to your point about him blitzing, and getting a run through a running back's mustache, he's looking forward to doing that. So I think they're going to blitz him some. I think it's all going to be manufactured, though, because they just, outside of Simmons, they don't have the guy that's just going to, you line up one-on-one against me, I'm going to whoop your behind over and over again. They don't have that, so they're going to have to do stunts, twists, blitzes, coming off the nickel, all types of things like that to get pressure. And that's why a guy like L'Jarius Sneed is so important, because you got to have that coverage behind that pressure. And that was one of the first things that Denard Wilson said about, hey, we're going to blitz, we're going to attack and be aggressive, but with coverage behind it.
So, TD, we understand Titans big underdogs heading into this game. It is the National Football League. It's not like, Austin Peay taking on Georgia or anything like that. So they do have an actual chance to win this game. And look, as you know, there's been so much negativity around this group, around this coaching staff. If they're able to go on the road here and pull off a win against a Denver team that's getting a lot of hype in the offseason, what kind of a shot in the arm is that for this team, this franchise, this coaching staff, this fan base?
It's a major shot in the arm. Like it's like a steroid level shot in the arm, because you beat a team that was in the playoffs last year, a team that was hyped up. It would be like the Browns, the Browns win a couple years ago in 2019. It would be that type of win where it changes your outlook on the season. Right now everybody's like, hey, this is 1-17. Of course, we want to go out there and win, and we believe we're going to win. But you know what I mean. But then that changes going into the Rams game. Like, no, man, they're coming into our house. We're going to whoop their behind. You know what I mean? It changes the mindset, I think. So it will be major.
So TD, if I ask you the we all know Cam Ward's the most, like the most important player on the team. The season's large about him. Who would you say is the most important player on this team after him in terms of just setting the course for what this season might be?
No, I think it's Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, that defense it's on his shoulders, right? And I think everything revolves around him getting that interior pressure. But guess what? They flex him outside, to like a 5-7 technique and let him rush the passer that way. So it all kind of flows through him defensively. He's in essence the quarterback, not as far as communication, but as far as like everything circling around him. He's the quarterback of the defense.
What are your expectations for the revamped offensive line going up, as you said, TD, against a very talented front this weekend in Denver?
Yeah. Well, Nick Bonito, man, he got a bunch of money for being one of the best. Number 3 in sacks last year. So I think it's just they have to communicate. I was talking to Dan Moore Jr. Yesterday about that. Just about being able to talk without talking, and they have to figure out the hand signals and stuff like that. And they may have to tweak them because the defensive linemen are smart, right? They'll start to catch on and understand it, and then you gotta change it. So I think they'll be fine. I mean, Ward's going to get sacked. He's going to get hit. It just is what it is. That Denver front with Jonathan Cooper as well is just good. And if you remember John Franklin Myers a few years ago, he murdered that Titans offensive line up there in the Corey Davis game with the Jets. So it's going to be a tall order for them.
You mentioned Snead earlier, TD. I mean, I guess I would expect a questionable designation, but also for him to give it a go Sunday. First of all, do you agree with those two things?
Absolutely.
If he is, I mean, I guess if he's able to give it a go, I mean, I know for anybody here who hasn't been playing a lot, who isn't in quote unquote game shape, altitude's not great, but would you expect him to be out there the whole game, or would there be some sort of a pitch count even for a corner just because he hasn't done much?
I think it's going to be a player by ear thing. He said that everything is good as far as the quad and the knee is concerned. So that is a good thing. He did say, though, the conditioning is the thing that he's really honing in on the most. And that was, a couple weeks ago, when he came back. I think, when you look at this altitude, that's something everybody is concerned with. But I think that's a little bit extra for your Kevin Winston Jr.'s, your Sneads, your Tavondre Sweats, those guys who are coming back. Even J.C. Latham, coming back after missing, a week and a half or so. But I know we'll get more answers later today because L'Jarius Sneed, his locker number 38, is going to be one that we're all going to be camped out at because it's his turn to speak. We haven't gotten to speak to him all week. So, today is the day.
All right, TD, last thing for you. Will the Titans and Broncos make it to the first play from scrimmage before somebody gets tossed out for spitting on someone? Will that happen?
Yeah. Well, listen, Robbie, I got to, that Eagles and Cowboys, right? That's a rivalry. It's different.
Sure is.
You know what I mean? So, it's like your Packers and Bears. You know what I mean? It's a personal thing that happens. Not to excuse that because that's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's moronic. It's egregious. All those words. But, yeah, I don't think that happens in this game.
I hope not. I hope we can get to the first play without that happening.
Jeff has been accused of this before.
That's true.
Yes, he has.
That is true.
Marshall Yonder.
That's right. That's right. Well, TD, have a great time, man. Looking forward to the game. Finally, some actual football to watch and to discuss. Excited about it, and we'll talk to you next week, my man.
All right, for sure. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
Absolutely. Teron Davenport joins us every Friday morning at 8 o'clock, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. We'll take your reaction to what TD had to say, your thoughts on the matchup for the Titans against the Broncos. We've got Pigskin Pick'em on the way at 8:30. All that ahead, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Michigan takes on Oklahoma tomorrow at 6:30 in our college football game of the week on Sports Talk 830, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants and Circus Sportsbook Kentucky. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Titans taking on the Broncos coming up on Sunday. Taking your thoughts on that matchup. Interesting, TD says it, and I agree with it. Like early in the game, trying to establish some sort of a running game against this Denver team. Who knows that you're starting a rookie quarterback who looks at your wide receiver room right now and says, okay, outside of Calvin Ridley, not a whole lot there. They know you're going to try to run the ball. How effectively can you do it against that front on Sunday? Tell a big story of how that game goes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to mix it up and throw to run a little bit. And I just think quick game passing, much as you can do it, and just little play action dump to the tight end. I mean, you're going to have to try to keep them off balance. I don't think the Titans are going to come out there and just say, "Here we go," and just pound it, as we like to say around here.
They're built to pound.
That's right,
as Rexrode has made clear.
I have, but this may be not the ideal opponent. I think some weeks
you're either built to pound or you're not.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there is a team on the other side. This would be one of the teams probably offers more resistance. I do think that the Titans will be a running team this year. I mean, I think that they're going to be a run-heavy team, which
get excited, Titans fans.
Well, yeah, but you should get excited because it doesn't mean you're never going to throw. I mean, that's the best way you can help a rookie quarterback, right? If you can actually do that effectively, get Cam Ward some play action shots.
I'm with you. I just know
football.
that there are Titans fans out there that want to throw the ball 45 times.
Yeah. Let me tell you, take any game this year, and if the box score says Cam Ward 40 or more attempts, I promise you who doesn't win the game. Okay? Your team. So you want him about 25 attempts. Give him about 25 attempts a game. I know modern football and all that stuff. Football, man.
Running game's making a comeback, man.
Running the ball, it always works.
Running game's making a comeback. You see the Eagles last year? You see Derrick Henry out
last
there?
night. I mean, their passing game. I mean, their primary offense was Hurts just be like, "Oh, you guys are in man again. Okay, I'm just
going to take
over here and run around." So, yeah, I think the Titans will be running the heck out of the ball this year. Will they do it Sunday? I don't know. That'd be awfully promising. You talk about like takeaways, not just from a win, but like how does it happen? If they go in and run the ball for 120 plus, as a team on the Broncos, they probably have a offensive line that's going to mash some people this year.
Yeah, I would think so. And then on the passing part of this, Ward. I think what I'm most interested in from Ward on Sunday is like, can he avoid just the disastrous plays? Like Denver's got a good enough defense where, like, if you've got the expectation that he's going to come in and just light it up on Sunday, I don't know that you're living in reality. Like it's a really good defense on the road against an offense that frankly is just, I don't think, equipped to really handle that. So can he avoid the disaster plays? And does he look like he's in control out there from the standpoint of he's not getting fooled all the time? Like, does it look like he's got some of the answers to the test that Denver's throwing his way? And he's not going to have all of them. Like, he's not going to have all the answers. Denver's got a really good defensive coordinator, really good defensive talent. They're going to get to him. They're going to fool him from time to time. But for the most part, does Cam Ward recognize what he's seeing both before the snap and after the snap and know where to go with the football? Those are kind of the two things I'm looking for.
Yeah. And I'm pretty confident that he'll be he'll know the picture, before the snap. Then is what are they able to do to change it on him, and is he ready for whatever that may be? I mean, teams are always wheeling into 3 out of 2 or whatever it is. I mean, teams are always trying to do that to every quarterback. So, yeah, can he not have those negative plays? He is. I mean, TD brings up a great point. It's not like he threw a bunch of picks last year. There was still some plays in some moments where it's like I thought he took unnecessary risks. He stands in the pocket. I mean, I agree with people that say like one of the encouraging. I think it was at our fantasy draft the other night, right? Matt from Fairview, I think. One of the things about him is like he does have this like total calmness in the pocket, which is great. And some quarterbacks lose that in the NFL because you get hit enough, and sometimes you can behave differently from that. But I agree that he has a real calm in there, and he's not afraid, and he'll step into a throw, and of course he can extend plays too.
Yeah, and then extending the play. I don't think he's going to take off and run with it a ton. He can run around, but I don't think he's going to be Jalen Hurts out there or anything. So when he's extending, can you create some opportunities down the field when he kind of evades that first rush? Like he was really good at that at Miami, of getting himself out of trouble, keeping the eyes down the field, and find some people wide open down the field. Can you do that if you're the Titans and if you're Cam Ward on Sunday? Because I think that's part of his lure. I remember reading Blake Bedingfield a couple weeks ago, and we've talked a lot about Ward and his footwork and how that's a work in progress and needs improvement. But one of the things Bedingfield talked about at paulkuharski.com was like him throwing on the run. Like Ward, when he's on the move, throwing the ball is pretty accurate and pretty good. And I think that could serve him well in this game when, as TD mentioned, you're going up against a front that even if the Titans have improved, the offensive line is still going to have their moments where they get pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, last night I thought it was a great quarterback game. Really, like obviously Hurts, Hurts was running around killing them, but then he'll just throw a perfect deep shot, taking the short stuff, hitting his tight end. I mean, I thought Dak last night was, think about there's some of the plays where he had pass rush. Obviously, again, it gets easier when Jalen Carter leaves the game, but he just extending plays, waiting. CeeDee Lamb breaks open. I mean, there was a lot of really good quarterback teach tape last night, I thought, in that game. And I do that's where Cam, I think, has got a little bit more than some quarterbacks, is the ability to hang in, extend, elude, and then make a big throw. And obviously he can rip the ball. Matt from Camden says 25 attempts for him, Pollard with 23. Those are good statistical markers. If those two numbers happen, that means they have the ball.
Yeah.
That means Pollard's having success. And so that means Cam's 25 attempts probably have a higher chance of quality plays. So, yeah, those would be good statistical markers.
All right, let's go on record, all three of us. Who will be beyond Ridley? Who will lead the Titans in receptions on Sunday? Take Ridley out of it. Who's the
Just
second
Sunday?
guy? Yeah, just on Sunday.
Pollard.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. I like that. Ian?
Lockett.
Okay. That's where I'm going to. Lockett.
You got. I thought you
Chig
might go Helm.
I almost went. Chig would have been my other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be
see,
Lockett.
Yeah, I mean, 5 catches for Lockett and Chig each. I could see that.
Yep. Well, look, the question beyond that is how many is Ridley going to get? Because how's Denver going to handle him? Are they going to?
Yeah, I wonder if Ward will just try to force the ball to Ridley, even if Surtain's kind of shadowing.
Could be a dangerous game to play.
Does he just take him out of the game? And is Ward going to try to force it, or is he just going to be like, okay, Surtain's going to follow. I'll go elsewhere.
And how much following is Surtain going to do? Like, I know he'll do some. Is it going to be exclusively, or is it going to be sometimes yes, sometimes?
Does he
no?
travel, or does he stay on one side of the field?
I think he is travel.
He'll travel.
He'll do that. Yeah,
okay,
for sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I think they'll do it a lot, just because they're so unafraid of everybody else. But I could be wrong. But I would guess that there'd be a fair amount of him just traveling with them.
Kyle in Shelbyville on YouTube says he'd trade Big Jeff for Nick Bonito in a heartbeat. I don't think the Broncos would do that. I could be wrong.
Also on the YouTube chat, Chris says that they make specific bags to smuggle liquor onto cruise ships, and he smuggled copious amounts of liquor onto the cruise ships.
It's good to know.
Excellent. Keep those smuggling stories coming.
That is good to know out there. I don't think the Broncos would do that. I mean, first off, every time Nick Bonito is said, I think back to Preds legend Nick Bonino.
Yes,
I
know,
it gets
right?
me every time. I'm like, wow, Nick Bonito out there. But I mean, look, he's 25 years old, had 13 and a half sacks last year. I think he's it would take more than Jeffrey Simmons to get him.
He's better right now than Nick Bonino. David, what about Helms? Yeah, no, who gets more catches, Chig or Helms this week?
I'll go Chig.
I would go Chig too, but I could see
Helm in the red zone though.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, Helms becoming a key, like you said, red zone or just over the middle of the field option would be a big deal for this team. I mean, I think Chig will get a fair amount of work too, but Helms is a very important.
It's just Helm.
One of the many. Sorry.
No S,
Helms.
no plural.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I mean, DC Denard Watson had a lot of trouble with him during camp. So,
and Denard Walker too.
Yeah,
Denard Walker.
PK called him Denard Walker again a couple weeks ago. I was just like, here it is.
Like he's called him that in public like 30 times.
I know. The
Makes me feel better about calling Helms.
The Commodores travel at Cam Ward's out there. Commodores travel to Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech tomorrow. Pregame at 5, kickoff at 6:30. Vanderbilt football brought to you by Gary Forge Acura and Smoky Mountain Tops. We will pick the Vanderbilt game coming up next. The Titans and the Broncos. It's Pigskin Pick'em. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Now, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is time for Pigskin Pick'em. 1 week in the books, and now the NFL is back, and we are full go in Pigskin Pick'em. Ian Safar, a masterful job in week one. 5-1 with his lock, good for 6 points.
Dang.
He takes the lead right out of the gate. I went 3-3, did not get my lock, 3 points. Joe Rexrode 1-5, tough start to the year, but did get his lock, 2 points. for Rexrode there. So Ian, off to a quick start in the competition.
I'll need it because it will drop back quickly, I'm sure.
Now he's bringing
Don't
some
give me
humility
your
to the
give me your
program.
fake humility. I want to hear it, dude.
Bringing the
I
humility
don't want to
to the
hear it.
program.
Talk some trash.
Here we go.
Hey, everyone's always it ends up being 500, pretty much.
That's true.
So it'll come back to earth. So we'll just take it 1 week at a time.
That is true. We begin with ETSU traveling to Neyland Stadium to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. Now, it was difficult to find a line in this one. AI told me 37.5. We bumped it up. 38.5 is the line we're going with here. Ian Safar, you were in first. You were up first in the competition. Vols favored by 38.5 coming up on Saturday.
Okay. 38.5 is a big number. But I'll take the Vols. And you know what? I locked it last week. Let's lock it again. Back-to-back Vols, first pick, locking down 38.5.
Okay.
I will also take the Vols. I think they're going to put up a lot of points early in the game. They'll switch quarterbacks relatively quickly. And I think Josh Heupel has shown that when the other quarterbacks get in, he goes. He just runs the offense. So I will take the Vols minus the 38.5. Joe Rexrode, who we got?
Yeah, I mean, I love 37.5, but I'm sticking 38.5 because, like, first of all, I mean, I thought that the actual offense of the Vols definitely was a nice, pleasant surprise. I think last week to come right out and execute like that. So I think they'll score it well. And like you said, those backups, they're coming in, they're going to throw it. Those guys are maybe fighting to be QB2, whatever it is, whoever goes in, they're going to keep the foot on the pedal. That's what Josh Heupel does. So. Balls across the board.
Balls across the board. A lot of disrespect being shown to East Tennessee State.
Yes.
And we apologize for that. Vanderbilt taking on Virginia Tech in a huge game this weekend. Frankly, not a lot of big games out there on the college football front this weekend. To me, this is a sneaky big game. Virginia Tech is favored by 2.5 at home in this matchup against Vanderbilt. I am going to take Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech gets a big win. I think this is a game that they really need. I think being at home is going to make a difference for Virginia Tech in this game. I think it'll be close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Virginia Tech will win by about 4. So I'll take Virginia Tech minus the 2.5. Joe Rexrode, who we got?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm going to go with the Hokies at home. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think they win by field goal. Not surprised at all if Vanderbilt goes in there and wins this game. The crowd could get restless, with Brent Pry and all that stuff. So it may not be this unbelievable atmosphere if Vanderbilt can have success early. But I got to go with the Hokies to get revenge for last year.
Your brother going?
He's not going.
Okay,
no.
Just to see if he's got the key ready. Go sit out in the truck.
I guess he'll just like go from the TV room, like sit in the bathroom if you're really mad. Been ripping him a lot today. You smuggle whiskey on our grandmother. Sit in your truck when your team stinks.
Oh, man. A lot of stuff going on. Ian Safar,
love you, Matt.
Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech. Who we got?
This is a tough one. I've been going back and forth on this one for a day or so. Give me Vandy.
There we go.
Give me Vandy. Maybe Tech wins, but 23-24, something like that. Maybe give me Vandy. I'm taking Vandy plus the 2.5.
Nothing else needs to be said. Just give me Vandy. They have.
I don't know. Short week for Tech, right? Didn't they play on Sunday?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Big game, big opening game, neutral site, possible letdown. This way the game went. Although they did impress me versus South Carolina. So I'm a little bit.
They got some dudes.
I'm a little bit torn, but Vandy did cover like a top team last week.
Yep.
So give me Vandy.
It's going to be a great game. Looking forward to it. Titans and Broncos coming up on Sunday, the season opener for the Titans. Broncos favored by 8.5 at home in this one. Joe Rexrode, who we got?
I mean, I'm tempted. I am absolutely tempted here to make the crazy call that an NFL team would stay within a touchdown of another NFL team. But I think the Broncos are going to win by about 10 points. I think the Broncos are going to win 27-17, which means they will cover 8.5 per my math.
That is.
So
that
give
is
me
true.
the Broncos.
Ian Safar, Broncos favored by 8.5.
Titans.
Oh,
look at you. Homer Ian. Homer Ian.
I think they're going to be able, I expect Denver to win. I have mentioned this a couple times maybe this week about the Titans maybe covering a little bit more, being able to move the ball late in the game when it's maybe over, giving some backdoor covers.
There you go.
Give me the Titans in the 8.5. I took Dallas last night with 8.5.
You did?
I'll go with this too.
The team built to pound with some backdoor covers.
Yes, there we go. Thank you. Broncos lock.
Oh, boy.
Lock it down on the Broncos.
The Haterade. WHTR.
The Broncos are going to win
Robbie
by 3
Stanley.
touchdowns. Broncos are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns. I've thought it all week. I can't escape it. It's going to be ugly. Titans fans, shield your eyes. Prepare yourself. Look for the positives in Cam Ward in this game. But the Broncos are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Be ready for it.
Adam from Portland, your thoughts?
I am locking down on the Denver Broncos. Joe Rexrode, your first individual selection.
All right, well, let's just go right to my lock. Lions at Packers -1.5. Packers lock. And you better not let me down, Robbie Stanley and Micah Parsons. Oh, it's 2.5?
Yep.
Whatever. Packers lock. I don't care what it is. They're going to destroy the Lions. It's going to be a sign of things to come. And congratulations to your Packers being an actual contender, while the Lions are a pretender that a lot of the NFL media still seems to think is going to be like a top team this year. And they're about to get a rude awakening.
I also have the Packers -2.5 in this game, as is customary for me. Ian Safar, your first individual selection.
Okay, I will stick with the NFL. I'm going with the Dolphins +1.5 at the Colts. This is a Tua Dolphins prime game to put up some points against a team in a game that nobody's watching or cares about at noon indoors against an average to below average team. The Dolphins are underdogs. I know they're not supposed to have a great season. I'll take Dolphins +1.5 at Indy.
Going Dolphins plus the 1.5 against the Colts. Give me the Syracuse Orange -6.5 against UConn. I think the Orange rebound after a tough loss to Tennessee.
6.5 only against
That's
UConn?
what I said. I saw that line.
That's tonight,
and
right?
was like,
is that tonight?
I think it may be. I saw that line. And I was like, really? 6.5.
UConn. They're terrible.
They're going to run the ball for 300 yards in this game. Give me Syracuse -6.5 against UConn. Ian Safar, your second individual selection.
Okay, all mine are NFL. I will stick with the Carolina Panthers +3.5 at Jacksonville.
I like that one.
Only a field goal.
I like that one.
Sure, Jacksonville could win by a field goal, but so you give me the extra half a point. Carolina, I'll take him.
Ian is all over the rest of the AFC South right now. No
That's
faith in
right.
Colts.
That's it.
No faith in
I didn't
Jacksonville.
even think about that, but hey, I'm making it up with.
So
making up
whoever's
for it with the
playing
Titans.
the Texans, I guess
You better watch out.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
not picking that one. That's the Rams.
You better watch out. Joe Rexrode, your second individual pick.
Okay, so I'm going to the college game, which was not good to me last week, other than the U. Thank you, U, for making my lock save my week. But San Jose State at Texas. Texas -36.5. I just feel like Texas is going to take out some frustration. I think Arch is going to make some big plays, and I think they're going to win this game by about 45 points. So I really love Texas at home, given 36.5 against San Jose State.
Texas -36.5 against San Jose State. Ian, your final individual selection.
Okay, last NFL game here. I don't know. The Bills are +1.5 against the Ravens at home, I believe, from what I have.
I believe that is correct.
That's interesting.
Bills are the underdog in this game at home. I know the Ravens are expected to do. Obviously, both teams are expected to do great things this year. So I will take the Bills +1.5 at home versus the Ravens.
Going Bills plus the 1.5 at home against the Baltimore Ravens.
So they're saying that the Ravens are 4.5 points better than the Bills.
That's what they're saying.
That's surprising to me.
That's what they're saying. Joe Rexrode, your final individual selection.
Okay, South Florida. If anybody watch, Alex Golesh, former Tennessee OC, I think he's done some really good things at South Florida. They might have a little bit of a squad this year. They destroyed Boise State. They're at Florida. They're getting 17.5 points. This was almost my lock. I think Florida will beat them, but I think South Florida is going to make this a football game. I love South Florida with the 17.5.
Chaz Nimrod, big game incoming.
Watch
He
out.
looked
South
good.
Florida.
The
He
other
did.
day. Yeah,
He did look good.
week 1.
My final pick, I will go Ole Miss -8.5 against Kentucky. I think Kentucky might be awful.
Their cheeks,
I think they may be pretty bad. And look, I don't know how good Ole Miss is, but they're going to be good enough in this game. Give me Ole Miss on the road minus the 8.5. I think they may win by about 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that could get ugly, man. This is a big game for Mark Stoops.
It is.
Michelle Perry, your thoughts?
It is. Big game. Frankly, until like yesterday, didn't know it was happening. Didn't know there was a conference game this weekend. I was like, hey, look, Ole Miss and Kentucky. How about that?
Yeah, and Ole Miss new quarterback Austin Simmons. They like him. He might be good. Might be another going for Lane before he heads off to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our final thoughts on the matchup for the Titans and the Broncos is coming up next. DVD going to be live at Chiba Hut in Donaldson today from 3 to 6, leading up to Chiba Hut's Big Jeep Glow Party. There will be live music, drink specials, and more. You can check out theGameNashville.com/events for more details. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. If you're watching NFL games this Sunday, come on out to Twin Peaks in Madison. Big Joe, Chris Sanders hosting the game's pregame show from 1 to 3 prior to the Titans taking on the Broncos. Pregame is brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment, Old National Bank, Circus Sportsbook Kentucky, and Tennessee Brew Works. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. One texter says, you guys have convinced me to bet my 2 houses and 6 cars on the Broncos winning the Super Bowl. I'm on that Broncos hype train.
Ah, boy.
Broncos 59, Titans nothing. Broncos country, let's ride.
That's Robby. Robby is the believer in the Broncos. At
Guys,
least this week.
Breaking news. Broncos better than Titans. I don't know what to tell you.
That would be true. But any given Sunday, Robbie, any
true.
given Sunday.
That's true. Just because you're better doesn't mean you always win. It's
That's
the
right.
NFL.
That's right.
Who plays better on that Sunday? It's the only thing that matters. Jonathan says, can't wait to rub it in both of your faces Monday morning when the Lions destroy the Little Packers. Well, how much rubbing in the face of Joe you'll be doing at that point? Because he doesn't
A mighty
really care,
team
does
that
he?
will not yield. Well, no, but I'm ripping the Lions.
But I will care.
I'm ripping the Lions, so that's fine. You know, if that's what you think, that's fine. I've tried to save Lions fans. It's sort of my calling in life. You know, is to save people from being Lions fans. I kind of failed with at least one of my children, but if you want to continue to believe and you want to keep getting your heart ripped out of your chest, go for it.
One texter says, does anyone care about a pick on San Jose State and Texas, a game with a 36-point spread? You guys should only be able to pick games with a spread of 14 or less.
Oh, BS, man.
It's a spread.
Yeah, exactly. That's I mean,
It's not like we're picking who wins.
It's like saying a golfer with a 8 handicap or more shouldn't be able to play the game.
Nice. Matthew says Kentucky look real bad versus Toledo. Kentucky might be pretty awful.
I will say, and they might be for sure. I mean, this is a huge week. I will say though, in all seriousness, Toledo's good. Like Toledo actually is like a good team. I mean, I think it's the best team in the MAC. So I mean, just throwing it out there. Little Maction update for you.
Feel better, Kentucky fans. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you want to win by more than 8. You want to beat them better than 24-16. It's a big week, man. I mean, I think I would go your way on that one. I stayed away from it, though, because it's like, I mean, how much pride do they have? You know, like Mark Stoops has done such a good job, but I wonder if it's going to end badly for him there.
So Ian is picking the Titans to cover on Sunday, plus the 8.5. You said, I believe, 27-17 was your final, Joe. If the Titans are going to hang in there and make this a game in the fourth quarter, how do they do it? What has to happen for the Titans on Sunday against that team, that front, that defense?
Yeah, run the ball, like good offensive possessions, win the field position thing. Don't turn it over, get turnovers. The Titans have to have to me, a 2 or better, +2 or better differential in the turnover stat to have a chance of this game. Tip a ball at the line, and also just a very clean game. It is a great atmosphere. It's opening week. How many false starts do you have? How many operational issues do you have? Are you done with the stupid special teams crap? I would think so this year. I would hope so. You can't give them anything, and then you have to take from them a little bit. But I think I love the stat earlier. 25 throws for Cam Ward and 23 rushes for Tony Pollard. That is what you're looking for. Balance. You got a red zone. When you get to the red zone, are you going to finish any drives? I mean, I'm going through basically football cliches, but that's what it is. I mean, these things are pretty much universal.
But then a couple things. What is the Denver offense this year? How good are they? Like, is Bo Nix about to take another step forward in year 2 after a very impressive rookie season? And what is the Titans defense? I have no idea. Like, I don't feel good about it. I have an idea of what I think. Like, I don't think they can rush the passer, and I have concern at cornerback, so that's not a good spot to be in. But are they better at getting at the quarterback than we think? Like, does Denard Wilson scheme some things up this weekend where they're able to put some pressure on Bo Nix? And is that offense, like, does Bo Nix, is he going to be really good again this year? Is a sophomore slump coming for him? We're going to begin to find out the answer to those things on Sunday.
Yeah, and is he 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 7? Because you get to 3rd and 7 and you can scheme up some of those pressures, right? Can they stop the run? Now, the Titans going to be able to stop the run this year. Does Draymond Jones matter in that? Does the Simmons Sweat combo matter? Is Cedric Gray ready to be a sound? The run fits are on point all day. I mean, last year they just had some just horrific performances in that regard. And they definitely talked about being bigger, stronger, and all that stuff. We know they lack edge talent, right? No question. But if you can just get to the point where you actually are more stout and sound and stop the run and again, like put teams in actual uncomfortable situations, you're going to find yourself having a lot more success.
Game I'm most excited about this weekend in college football, even more so to me than Michigan, Oklahoma, just because it's here locally. I'm fired up for Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech. I'm very much looking forward to it coming up tomorrow.
I'm with you. I'm Virginia or Vandy has added some guys. They've added some speed to their team. Trey Richardson, like they, they have a chance to be pretty good. And again, it's just like we talked about yesterday. They go in there and win that game. Next week we could be talking like some lofty stuff. But again, like then you worry about South Carolina. But lose that game. Like if you lose a really good game, it's not like Virginia Tech is a great team. You still, to me, is like, okay, like you are. Look at your schedule. You are fighting for a bowl bid. It's just what it is this year.
Well, and you could be anyway, even if you win the game.
You could
for sure. Yeah. Like if you lose
if you
this
get
one,
that one,
yeah,
then you can. The numbers start to look real good to me. To like, you should get to 7.
Yeah,
if you win it, right? But then again, you can start thinking about more. I mean, my gosh, you get to go play Kalen DeBoer again this year. Holy crap! No one loves the Kalen DeBoer hire. Not many people love it more than Vanderbilt fans. I mean, well, some other people love it.
I was about to say, you're talking.
There's a whole lot of, like, the whole sport loves it right now, I guess, other than Bama.
We'll see how they respond this week, too, against UL Monroe. That does it for us today here on the program. We'll be back Monday morning. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. This is 102.5 The Game.